All right, story number two. Story number two. Now, I've been meaning to follow up on this story because, you know, when Kendrick's Watch the Party Die or Untitled, when that project dropped, you know, there was a big deal made of the cover art with the black forces. He had the black forces on there. People were like, oh, shoot, he's going on a drill mission. That's what the song sounds like, you know, in a very Kendrick kind of way, I guess we'll say. It's darker than I think most expected it to be. And so then after that, we got Lecrae made a response. He used white Uptowns, white Air Force Ones. And we got D1, Call It Like It Is, and he used the Soldier Rees for his. And so the story of the Kendrick cover art was he just went to eBay and found a picture of some black forces and he used that for the cover art, right? So this story is a few days old. It's a couple of days old. But I've been meaning to get to it because I do find it pretty interesting. And there was an update on this story over the past 2 days, so I'm not as late as the original. But THV11TV, I believe they're in Little Rock, Arkansas. They did a story with the family who actually posted those shoes on eBay. Who was the one who posted them online trying to sell them because they were completely caught off guard when they saw how viral their old broke down black forces went. So let's take a look at the news story and I'll update you on what's happened with this.
Here's a really old reference for you, Faith. When Kendrick Lamar talks or sings, he's like E.F. Hutton. People listen. And so when the 17-time Grammy winner and soon to be
Kendrick Lamar is like E.F. Hutton. People listen. That is interesting. I like that. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all, journalists, news journalists. 1 second applause.
Super Bowl headliner released a new song on Instagram a couple of weeks ago. It got over 3 million likes.
But the cover art he used, a pair of sneakers, belongs to a North Little Rock couple. THV11's Carter Dweet talks to the pair about kicks that are giving them one of the biggest kicks of their lives.
Information that'll change his life because he yearns for that.
It was big news in the hip-hop world when Kendrick Lamar surprise released a new song on the evening of September 11th. It was his first song since his high-profile feud with Drake, a 5-minute Untitled track released simply with a picture of these shoes, a pair of black Air Force Ones.
He got that right. 5-minute Untitled track. He didn't confuse us. He didn't say black forces. He didn't say when the Watch the Party Die. Not bad.
Oh, please.
Here we go, the big moment.
Boom.
These are them.
That's them.
So here they are. These are the shoes. These are the kicks. This is what they look like outside the picture. Yeah, they're laced very tight. Extremely tight. They definitely look like the owners.
That's them.
Internet sleuths quickly figured out the shoes came from an eBay listing based in North Little Rock. The account in question called Good to Be You, and it belongs to Billy Lingo and Darla Wilson, who have been together for 20 years and running the account since 2021.
What happened was I sold the shoes, and I said, oh, great. I sold a pair of shoes. So I started, I've got them, boxed them up.
Right.
I love the show Eastbound and Down. I'm not sure if you guys have watched Kenny Powers. I'm a huge Kenny Powers fan. I think he's one of the most quotable characters in history. And truthfully, I love Danny McBride. I love Danny McBride's stuff because he tells Carolina stories. Most of his shows are based somewhere in the Carolinas. Eastbound and Down was in Shelby, North Carolina, and went to Myrtle Beach. They're all between Charlotte and Anderson and Clemson all the time. The new one, The Righteous Gemstones, that one is, I think they're in Charlotte primarily, but there is an episode where they're in Clemson. Like most of his stuff takes place in the Carolinas. I just love it. I think he's one of my favorite writers, period. One of my favorite storytellers. And there's a scene in Eastbound and Down season 1 when Kenny's sister-in-law was selling things on eBay. And she was like, oh, $15. Oh, what a rush. That's who this lady reminds me of. Listen to how she says that. She's just over here like, oh, good. Look at this.
Was I sold the shoes, and I said, oh, great. I sold a pair of shoes. So I said,
oh, great. That's what Kenny Powers' sister-in-law sounded like on Eastbound and Down. If you haven't seen that show, punch yourself in the face. 1 second applause for Kenny Powers.
a pair of shoes. So I started, I've got them, boxed them up, printed the label, and all of a sudden my phone was blowing up.
It was other eBay users letting them know that their shoes, which were quickly snatched up for $70, were now a piece of hip-hop history. The couple says they have no connection to Lamar. This was completely unexpected.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know a whole lot about him. And I knew he was. My son had told me about him, and my daughter had told me about him, but I really know about him now.
Once they figured out what was going on, the couple canceled the initial order, and they're now trying to sell the shoes in an auction format starting at $5,000. And since they own the image,
$5,000. They went from $70 to $5,000. These people are coming up. That's crazy.
They say they plan to sell t-shirts with it. Billy already has one.
And we had an opportunity put before us, and I'm not a greedy person. You know, I got to buy it now for $100,000. I buy it now for $75,000. I know that's kind of, you know, probably not going to happen, but it could.
In North Little Rock, Carter Thweet, THV11 News.
Carter, good stuff. And if you're interested in getting into that auction before Craig O'Neill does, the link to the new eBay listing can be found on our website, thv11.com. The auction ends Saturday at midnight.
So that's what happened with the shoes, right? So that's the couple. That's the couple who posted the eBay Black Forces on eBay. Now, here's the update. Here's the update to the story. We saw it at $5,000. So here's what happened to it. So this is according to Footwear News. So black Air Force Ones from Kendrick Lamar's viral cover art are no longer for sale, right? And so the beginning of this is really just quotes from the news segment that we saw. So here's what Footwear News reports. The viral sneakers were relisted for a starting price of $5,000 and $75,000. Buy it now. However, as of Sunday, the shoes are no longer available for purchase on the account, which is instead selling t-shirts printed with the cover art. We just saw them wearing those in the segment. When reached for comment, the account owners told FN they canceled the most recent auction after experiencing cyberbullying and harassment over the listing. Cyberbullying and harassment. I mean, I guess maybe people felt like they were, trying too hard to capitalize off of this, the fame brought to them by Kendrick Lamar. Or maybe people just, I don't know. I mean, people are weird. People do crazy stuff every day. But cyberbullying and harassment. With plans to sell the shoes at a later date, the Air Force One owners said competing eBay accounts and e-commerce stores are now selling merchandise with the image, which they say they own. As for Lamar, it was announced September 8th that he'll headline the Super Bowl 59 halftime show on February 9th, 2025. So they took the ad down because of cyberbullying and harassment. So right now they're not available to sell as of the most recent update to this story. But you can buy T-shirts of the picture, and I guess there's plenty of bootlegs out there. Since Kendrick did make that post famous, rather, maybe not infamous, but famous. Probably the most famous pair of black forces in history. Just might be. I thought this was interesting. I felt like doing this story a few days ago. I didn't get a chance to get to it, but that is the update on what is happening with the shoes.
Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, y'all, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunte is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.